Welcome, everybody, to another edition of Late Night on Base, a live stream. As you can tell, I'm being real professional today. Outside of my patio, haven't shaved. YOLO, that's what we do here at Let's Touch Base. I'm excited for this one. As you guys probably know, I'm a big Miggles fan, big believer, big holder, and I got so much love for Force, and I know what they're doing super big. So, first of all, Force, what's going on, man? How you doing?
Good. Just drinking some water, staying hydrated, enjoying this
Got to.
California sun. Just came back inside, so yeah, I know exactly how you feel out there. Was just out in my patio as well.
Sweet. So right now let's just wait a second. Why don't we get the Miggles army to join? Let me send you because let's see, copy link. So for anyone and Forrest, if you share this with your community as well, you could just say something like we're live. I will as well. We want to populate because you guys have a lot of stuff in store. I'm really, really excited to kind of just dive in. I know you guys did the stream with the Doge team, right, earlier?
Oh yeah, so we had the pleasure to join the Doge team. We've been working on them slowly on kind of activating a much larger activation down the line, but we're starting to kind of get our feet wet, get our communities, mingling together a little bit, getting to know each other. Obviously, Miggles does need a best friend, and I think the best friend could be Doge potentially. What we're basically kind of looking into is bringing what the next stage of IP is, and we'll kind of get into that a little bit later once the room fills up a little bit more. But yeah, let's share this room. Sharing it right now currently with the Mr. Miggles community, and so I think we'll get it going in the next few minutes. But
Absolutely.
yeah,
Let's do it
totally.
too. I'm actually going to try to hit up my homie Gravano. I know he's a big Mipples guy. Over in Gravano, he said he's down to join. Um, get him. Let's touch base community. But yeah, so I'm excited. I'm excited for this because I'm very selective on the projects that I participate in. And I think from the very beginning in the summer, I saw something special with Miggles. And again, no one's paying me anything to say this. Like I'm not paid by you, nothing. I just really enjoy the project. And the biggest thing about you guys is, first of all, community. For me, community is everything. And I feel the Miggles community is probably the strongest on base. Honestly, I think every time I post something, the Miggles family shows love. But more importantly, the core team making up the CTO has done everything the right way. They've shown that they're in it for the long term. And we'll get into it a lot about the branding, a lot of the ideas of what you guys got cooking. But to me, it seems like, and kind of like what Murad says, the kind of communities that are going to do one are those thinking multi cycles, not just like, hey, I'm in it for the next few months and that's it. I know Miggles is here for the long term based on what you
Absolutely.
guys are doing. And I'm excited for you to share this. So, we have about 80. Let's just start. I'm sure this thing will fill up to a few hundred.
Mm-hmm.
I know that's how it is. So take it away,
Okay.
Force from Miggles. Let's give us some alpha on basically Let's Touch Base, the live stream. That's what people come here for. Talk to us. What do we got in store for Miggles?
Yeah, totally. So thank you for having me up, Bill. Appreciate it. Always. Huge love to the late night on base community. Thank you all for always listening to Mr. Miggles. Maybe good talks that Bill always gives to you guys. But I think I want to come in here today to kind of give you guys more of a general update on where we want to head in terms of Miggles as a direction, as a meme. What's the next steps? What's coming next? It's a lot in question, and I think a lot of people are kind of waiting or assuming that maybe the community or the team is hoping for a Coinbase tweet. Are they hoping for Brian to re-engage? Like, what is the whole plan? Is Coinbase going to resume their marketing? As the core team goes, we've actually been doing the exact opposite of that. We've been essentially kind of working towards what Coinbase's marketing campaign of empowering creators is, such as Rachel on chain. Our whales have recently funded 3,500 in less than 3,500 or less than 12 hours to basically help her fund her DevCon trip, in which she was accepted to speak as the global head of relations of Pearl Labs, which is going to be essentially our company that's going to be representing the Miggles community in the Web2 retail storefront side. The ambitious kind of goals within that net is going to come into, getting our IP within the GameStop, Walmart, Target, large retail storefronts to kind of reignite the American consumer spirit again, right? Essentially get people to line up again back at the Targets, back at the GameStop stores, make it feel like these Web2 giant conglomerate stores still feel like they're connected within their consumers. And I think the next generation of cultural zeitgeist is basically not well. Obviously, we're seeing the meme coin cultural zeitgeist right now compared to the NFT, but where is this industry going to lead to? Similarly to how Pudgy Penguins, Azuki, some of the more notable NFTs that came out during the last cultural zeitgeist, you can kind of see how they've developed their brand and IP and decentralized community over time, right? And kind of like legitimized it through the Web2 retail space. So, speaking of Azuki, it's more like they acquired the anime.com. So they're working on anime 2.0, right? More IP. So you have Own the Doge team who has, the actual rights to the IP of the Doge picture. So all these different coins that are coming out, they're at the end of the day not directly confirmed and certified to work with by Atsuko Sato, the dog itself, the dog owner herself, right? So I think a lot of these kind of nefarious actors, bad actors, do get kind of weeded out over the time. But during that same kind of course, these communities that are created kind of need that next step. Where is it going to all head to next? And essentially, that's what I'm going to want to talk to today about is Pearl Labs. We just recently incorporated a company that is in Delaware, which is going to be more of like Web 2.5 incubation lab. What we want to essentially do is partner up with some large, giant kind of retail founders and retail companies, formerly in the industry of just traditional marketing to the retail giants like Target and Walmart, but they're looking for the next generation of IPs to work with. What we want to do is highlight these individuals in Web3 that are accredited, doxed, and on top of that, are they presentable to the world? And I think when we kind of come up with this, supercharged team from the Miggles Web3 community, and then kind of create this company within the Web2 world to essentially kind of bring these Web3 IPs that are created within this cycle. It's a $90 billion industry, guys, right? And it's ridiculous that a $90 billion industry is not finding things like a platform and a vehicle and kind of creating this way of survivability and longevity for the whole industry. So
Wait, hold on one second. I just want to kind of circle back. 90 billion, because again, there's a lot to digest, and I want everybody on this stream to kind of know how big this news is. Talk to me real quick. 90 billion is what is the $90 billion industry?
90 so the $96 billion toy industry is huge, right? And then the $90 billion industry is also for the meme coin industry is huge. Doge, which is also our partner, is about roughly 1/5 that entire market cap itself, right? What we want to do is essentially give these influential leaders that are operating in the Web3 space a platform and a vehicle to represent themselves in the Web2 space. Now, what we did with the NFT collection, what we did with the meme coin, great for distribution, great for distributing our IP within the Web3 space. But what we really want to do is take it to the next level, right? Work on our Web2 marketing on Instagram, TikTok, like I've discussed kind of previously on how we wanted to pursue that. We're currently working on the character modeling itself. And what we want to do in parallel with that is essentially deliver social and sales KPIs to these Web2 giant retail stores through these partners that we're going to be working with, these equity partners in Pearl Labs, right? And essentially kind of giving them a case study in which, to reignite that American consumer spirit, like I kind of once mentioned, to get these people back to getting excited to go to these storefronts because they feel connected to the products that are on the shelves rather than feeling like they're going through recycled goods or recycled content, similarly to just, it's every time you go to Disney, Barbie, it's the same kind of brands that you always see, Marvel, Capcom. And then we can kind of see this next cultural generation being attached to IPs and mascots and communities that they can actually interact in, make money in, flourish in, thrive in. And there is a kind of a next step to where that entire community leads to. And our kind of whole vision is creating this Web3 version of Sanrio, essentially, right? And with Fortnite level supercharging of the partnerships and relevant people that we want to bring into the Miggleverse. So season 1 of the Miggles plushies is basically essentially going to be in collaboration with 2 major partners. Our marketing arm was one who represented in companies or in Web2 companies such as McLaren, Kellogg's, iHeartRadio, very, very large companies, and they've created content and kind of guided them in the way of understanding what the algorithm for the Web2 social media is. And then for the Web3 front, they've worked closely with Doodles, Pudgy Penguins, CyberKong, etc. And I think what I really want to do is take kind of a second here to really take in, the fact that in the early days of Miggles, we really talked about how we wanted to work with the Pudgy Penguins community, how we wanted to work with the Doge community, not really work with them because that was such a high milestone and a high goal, right? But always talking about how we looked up to them and how we've kind of modeled our community and our foundational identity around those communities. This is really what kind of brought them closer to us. And behind the scenes, we've been talking very closely, with folks like Luca, Ogle, who's also a World Liberty Fight advisor, early Bonk advisor, also a Trump family advisor for crypto. alongside that MJ Kim, who's the HOY Combinator founder. And we have some, directors of FANG level companies who are joining in on the Pearl Labs entity as using that as a vehicle that they can kind of, talk about crypto to their friends, right? Like,
Right.
and even if they don't know about crypto, how do we introduce crypto IPs to them without pushing crypto or NFTs or anything like that to them? We simply just make a toy brand that's all about animals having fun together. And to pilot this whole program, we've obviously had the pleasure and humility to work with, humbled to work with the Doge team. And I think that shows the level of professionalism and safe to interact, presentability from our team. Right, I'm super proud of my team to always we go into meetings and we kind of crush these one after another. And we're in a situation where like these guys are relying on us to be their business developers, to be their marketing arm, to be their Web3 force and Power Rangers, kind of what Smoke from the Doge team said today during the spaces. They were kind of looking for these like Power Ranger people to come into the Web3 and the IP space. And essentially what the Coinbase campaign with Mr. Miggles has kind of come out with is this community full of robust builders, strong Web2 backgrounds, but also strong Web3 backgrounds because they're far enough in the trenches to actually find Mr. Miggles and kind of have these like early core builders come together and be like, hey, look, this is something really fun, really simple. This is deliverable to the Web2 space, Web3 space, and we can really be the Web 2.5 incubator incorporated in the US, representing accredited individuals in the Web 2.5, Web 3 space to essentially kind of funnel the Mr. Miggles and Doge IP to the whole world, right?
So
Yeah.
let's again, this is just massive, and I want to just interject because I feel like there's so much sauce that what you're putting on that we need to just kind of let this like simmer. And I want the people, we have about 250 people live. I hope you guys are listening to this. All right, so Miggles, let's just run up to where you are right now. You started off like any project, you have a type cycle, you do your thing, but a lot of the memes that come into play, they don't own the IP, not necessarily. They just kind of do their thing. But in order to get to that next level, correct me if I'm wrong, Forrest, the meme needs to own the IP. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I agree with that. The meme needs to have full control of the IP. Yeah, like the meme
Okay.
team needs to have that.
Okay, so I agree with that as well, because otherwise you get into copyright infringement, this and that. And again, we're thinking long term. Those are the memes that are going to do well. So so Miggles owns the IP, correct?
Yes. Or no, Miggles team has the full green light to do whatever we
Green
want
light.
with the IP. Yes.
So they have the permission. That's just as good. So now you have the permission. All right. Now you incorporated in the U.S. What's the name of the company?
It's going to be Pearl Labs Incorporated. PURR Labs Inc.
Which is perfect to go with the narrative of the cat theme. Okay, so Pearl Labs. Now you've done a next step. Now you can think about you have the incorporation, because in the traditional world, if you're trying to go into, and again, this is for the audience to kind of understand and grasp it, in order to have long-term plans to push the brand to the normies, the Web 2 world, because again, most people don't understand, in order for a brand or your meme, your favorite project to explode, to be that viral sensation, you have to onboard Web 2. I don't care what anyone says. Web 3 is just a specific, it's just like a circle jerk of people, all of us. Web 2 is where it's at. So you need to have the rights to the IP, either own it, you have the permission, you need to incorporate it, especially in the States. You guys have done that.
Mm-hmm.
So now, by having those two things, you are now allowed to venture out into the Web 2 to get your product into retail, correct?
Yes, exactly, and it's quite an ambitious goal, and I think the community, people who are close to us, do kind of see that we are making the right steps happen in the most proper way. Who our counterparties are brands that have represented some stuff that I mentioned before, like McLaren, Kellogg's, brands that absolutely do not mess with untrusted or undoxed individuals, right?
Of course.
So I think when we speak to their regards, it's great, but then do they have the I guess the fluency within the Web3 space mixed alongside the Web2 logistics and the marketing and the manufacturing? And would those two companies have the synergy with the community members of Doge and Miggles is always a different question. So, having kind of all that come to flourish is definitely something special.
And how long does it take to kind of get this to be cooking? Because to me, it seems like a very ambitious, but it probably didn't come across overnight because there's a lot of steps involved. How long did everything come together?
Oh man, it's been, it's obviously always going to be like a work in progress for forever. But in terms of this deal in this regards that we set up with Pearl Labs and all of our, Q4 marketing plans and kind of our way of kind of curating how the Web3 community of Miggles is going to be and what Pearl Labs is going to head into with its specific, pilot partners and equity partners that we've already agreed to. It's taken only about a month and a half. So I'm really mind blown about the speed in which everything has happened. Obviously, we work 12 to 16 hours a day towards this. And I think, that's ultimately something that pushes everyone forward is I think momentum and inertia is real, not just in like, tangible goods, but intangible, situations as well, right? Like this idea of physics and this idea of momentum definitely like, exists in deal making and, letting the people know that you are working at the pace that you are and you're willing to push and you're willing to always keep pushing. So I think having a team that continues to push after every day and aligning everyone and kind of having all these counterparties look at us as the Web3 incubators within our own circle. Yeah, it took about a month and a half. Yeah, definitely. Meeting after meeting, one VC led us to another, and then had an intro call there, and then go out to Token 2049, and one of our community members went to the Doge party, and just talked with them, did a live pitch, connected with them in the Telegram, and then from this, from that point on, we've been talking with the Doge team every single day to make sure that everything is aligning. And their COO, Smoke, shout out to her, very great individual, Shub, Snacks, all these different people that are involved in the Doge team and the Doge IP team. They've been super welcoming of us and Base in general to make sure that this cross animal and cross chain love can flourish.
Amazing.
And yeah, no, it's definitely exciting. And I think one thing I do want to add is one of the more larger things that I really am mind blown about is like all these ideas are great and all these partners getting together for the equity is great. The pilot program is great, but I've never heard of a situation where we go from 0 to 1 to this regard. I don't consider where we are at 1 fully, but 0 to 0.5 in this amount of time, and also on top of that, being guaranteed a pitch to high level Silicon Valley VC firms. And, I think some of these ones that we're talking to right now and have the guaranteed intro to, we obviously clearly see a huge demand for what Pearl Labs is doing, and that we kind of curated this team of partners and individuals who essentially could be what bridges the Web 2 folks into Web 3 and vice versa. I know I
I
don't want to name
think
these names, but yeah, I mean multi-billion-dollar funds. I'm really mind blown and super humbled to even have the chance to be able to go pitch this idea to them. And
yeah, I
yeah.
think okay, so again, there's just so much to just say about that. And I think people need to grasp this, okay? Your network is your net worth. That is probably one of the fundamental principles of life. You can't do this alone. You guys are now slowly working and now have the introductions to the Doge team. Doge is probably the top meme that's ever been created, hit about, I don't know, 100 million. Their network is, you can't just buy that network. So and your meme, not Miggles in general, but just a meme in general can only dream of working with teams like that. You have to reach out and work with people to get to that next step. I don't see another project. Maybe Brett. I don't even know about them. The one thing I do like about Brett though is they've understood the purpose of branding to the traditional world. I'm sure they have partners, all that. But that's what you guys are doing as well. Brett's almost at $1 billion project. Last I checked, Miggles is at like a $23-25 million project. Nothing I say is financial advice, but in order to get to the next step, you have to become a household name. It's just simple as that. In order to get to a household name, you have to do the steps that Miggles is doing, and you have to work with the people that are already there. And so the introduction that you're making makes me super excited because you can't just buy that. Like if I'm a meme project, I can't just pick up the phone and be like, "Hey, Doge, what's up? I'm Bill. I have this project. Let me work with you." They'll be like, "Fuck off." Click.
Well, it's a it's a lot of like blood, sweat, and tears that go into it, right? Like Tyler himself, flew out to Singapore. Actually reached out to the Doge team, and well, actually we first reached out to the Magic Eden team, and then the Magic Eden team was able to throw us an invite to their Luma event. So it's really all about just like you really have to go out there and ask. You really have to go out there and talk to people.
Yeah.
You really have to like start doing something in order to kind of move the needle if you aren't capable of just like blasting $1 billion into the chart or the marketing. And I don't think anyone really wants to take that route, right? Because I mean, once once you base the foundation of an identity on something with just based purely on monetary reasons, I think it just really becomes difficult to move the situation forward. But
Yeah.
I think genuinely speaking, like, when we talk in the environment of the Doge and J-Core, or, all these like retail manufacturing and our marketing arms, like all these different things, I think we have that synergy in the conversation room where there's no like awkward silences where it just feels like we're forcing something. It just feels like very much so natural. If there's, feels very, very seasoned, that everyone in the room kind of feels aligned on what would be the community, what would be something that the community would enjoy, what is something that the retail would enjoy, coming out with these cost-effective ways, talking about things like KPI and kind of taking the proper steps is very different than, a lot of these other people who possibly, like which KOL we're going to pay next with our supply, and how are we going
Yeah.
to move the ship forward, right? I think
And that's
that's
just short-term thinking, though. Yeah, and I think what you guys are doing is setting yourself up for the long term. Versus, there's always temporary fixes. What KOL are you doing? Are they doing their metrics? I don't feel that's the right move. You have to establish your brand and let that work. Like, look at, for instance, Pudgy Penguins. And I'm gonna get Rachel on chain up right now in like 2 minutes or a minute. But look at what Pudgy Penguins has done. And case in point, I remember following them. They were created by some random guy. He sold it to Luca, I think, and it was super small, like, I don't know, less than an ETH. I don't know, it was pretty dead. And I don't know the man, but that guy turned it around. Last I checked, like a couple months ago, it was like 15 ETH floor. But what they did was, I'm sure they didn't just pay random KOLs. They've taken the strategy of creating the brand and putting their stuff into the Web2 retail stores and created that sense of like camaraderie and vibe where the normies, can equate this cute little thing to the crypto project, which gives them longevity, which gives them credibility, which is what I like what you guys are doing. And you have the partners in part to make that happen. So real quick, Rachel on chain, have to add you up. My friend, how you doing?
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Can you hear me okay? Awesome. Yeah, I couldn't fade the live stream with Miggles. It has been such a big week for Mr. Miggles, you guys, for everyone listening. I mean, it has just been, we've been moving at such a rapid pace every single day. There's new developments, just compounding growth day by day. The partnership with Own the Doge and Doge is probably one of the most massive partnerships that I've been, at the epicenter of. And I actually have a call with Smoke today. We had our Twitter space this morning. And yeah, it's just been really awesome. I mean, our team, I don't know how much Forrest has shared yet, but our team is getting ready to go to Tokyo to Doge Day that Own the Doge is putting on in Tokyo this year. And then we're also doing DEF CON. So shout out to the Miggles Whales. I mean, these guys have actually supported my travel to go live my dream and do what I love, speak at DEF CON and go participate in Tokyo at Doge Day. So I'm just honored. And now I got added to 2 additional panels at DEF CON. So I'm not only speaking once, I'm speaking 3 times. And yeah, just blown away at the abundance. And none of this would be possible without Mr. Miggles, the community, the whales, and of course Forrest, who brought me onto the team. I mean, I can't thank you enough, man.
No, I mean, like I tell her too. But like, we were talking about how she's going to be the new global head of relations for Pearl Labs, and alongside all these like great co-founders. But she's like,
yeah,
oh, like, how should I
guess
change?
we're
Like, what should I
announcing
do?
here
Like,
first.
what should I be?
Congratulations.
I was like, Rachel, like, you just have to be yourself. Like, you're just perfectly like good, like what you're doing right now, the business development, like all this like great work you're doing in the space, being this like, shining beacon of like just business developer, woman leader, woman boss, like just do what you're doing currently and like don't change. And just try to bring Doge, Mr. Miggles, and this whole like Web3 community, the base community, everyone, and yeah, like to the real world, exactly, and like make it more interactable, make it more fun. It doesn't need to always be about degen culture. So I think it's it's super fun.
Yeah, I think it's important because we were talking on a space today with Memestagram about kind of the bubble we're in, right? So there is a reason I prioritize going out into the real world and talking to people who are outside of our bubble, and Force, I think Miggles is a big proponent of doing so as well with, getting into toys, getting into plushies, getting the next generation excited about what's possible with blockchain, like, having the phygital ability to, have an IRL plushie, but also like a Tamagotchi like pet, virtually as well. So I think what we're doing is really a more holistic approach to getting people excited about what we're doing, and including folks who aren't Web3 or on-chain native. So yeah, I think Miggles is going in the right direction. I am honored to be the head of international relationships for the Miggles team for Per Labs, and yeah, it's all growth ahead. I mean, this roadmap is just stacked. Like I'm like every day, just wake up excited to be on the team and do what we're doing. So
First of all, I just have to say, congratulations, Rachel. That's amazing. Couldn't have happened to a better person. I'm super stoked for you. And I think the viewers need to understand, like, this is the start of something, what I believe. And again, Force and Miggles does not pay me a dime. Anything I'm saying, I just truly believe it. If I'm into something, I will let you know. DYOR, I don't care. This is just my thoughts. I feel that the stuff that Miggles is doing, onboarding people like Rachel, getting the word out there to spread to Web 2, which is the crux, on base, I don't think many projects are doing that, nor are they capable of. That you have to get to a certain level. So for me, if I'm a retail investor and as base picks up, my thesis is I'm not worried that Miggles is not going to be around. I like 99% of projects, you don't know if they're going to be around. It's just a simple truth. And I like a lot of projects, but you just don't know. I know Miggles is going to be around. They're doing all this stuff to get to the next level. And since it's not a saturated market, the cream rises to the top. That is how I view it. And I feel the trajectory is if they are to onboard the normies, meet these influential people, work with teams like Doge, this is not going to be a $23 million project. Simple as that. I'll be on record. I just don't see it not just going massive exponentials. That's just me saying it. So I'm the most bullish on any project. And I've said it before, and I'll say it one more time. The most bullish I'm on any base project, and I love base, and I love all the teams we work with. But for me, I'm the most bullish on Miggles, hands down.
Damn, that's a bold statement there. I love it. Yeah, I'm also feeling really bullish. I mean, the partnership with Doge. I mean, I'm just like I'm still mind blown that is happening and unfolding before our eyes here. And yeah, I actually checked on our website, and it's actually at a $30 million market cap. So, Bill, I was actually telling the former vice mayor of Berkeley, we had a meeting with who's current city council person. And we were talking with him and saying, I was like, yeah, we're at like a 20. I checked and we were at a $27 million market cap. I looked at the website and then it was 30 million. So, I mean, the project is just continuing to grow exponentially, just, following the Coinbase campaign. I think Mr. Miggles has just been poised to succeed and make a big impact on base. So, yeah, sorry. I'll pass it over to Force now if you have anything you want to add to that.
No, totally. And, even just as we're having this call, what I wanted to kind of reiterate is kind of Miggles being the vehicle and IP that everyone can attach themselves to, but having this be like a no judgment zone, safe to interact, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, trust the team, all that. But what it really like means is in the product angle, right? So we have the NFT collection who was done with the acquisition of the BMX founder, Miafosaurus. He distributed out to the Basecamp attendees, and then also some to the NFT team, and then some to the Miggles community team. And kind of first ever community on-chain NFT M&A done by a decentralized kind of fashion. So, the NFT collection, even in our regards, we have all the NFT royalties catered towards feline charity events. We want to do some sort of large activation events IRL at Berkeley. So if anyone's in the Bay Area, California area, you're definitely going to see some large Doge / Miggles activation for possibly even, we want to do is build break like Guinness World Records, right? Like something like that would be really fun. We're like the most adopted cats and dogs. And I think, working on activations like that, but also the meme coin aspect, obviously the NFT has a 10K limit to the supply. So I think the meme coin actually has like the wider vehicle of distribution to community members. And I think that's what really kind of gets people involved. Obviously we've kind of passed the test of the developer not having any, having any tokens in it. Obviously this is like, people were kind of thinking that it was a Coinbase Insider launch, that's kind of, been removed from the picture as well. And I think all these different things are kind of pointing to the fact that we just built a really cool, solid community around the NFT and the meme coin itself. But what do we want to do to be bringing the masses, right? Like, how do we align with Coinbase? Like, we want to bring in normies. We want to bring in the next 1 billion. We don't want to just say that we are, or we don't want to just say that we have that goal, but like, how do we actually do it? So we just want to put these toys and we want to put Doge and Miggles and all these different cute animals in front of people's faces. And obviously, yeah, like Bill said, we have thus far not paid a single person to make these deals happen. It's been, all of it has been through, the humility that the team shows and the credibility that these individuals all individually hold, and kind of one after another, more people joining in on this whole movement. And just, I think everyone's just trying to Miggle together.
Let me ask you this, Forrest, because I feel free to say you can't say anything about it, but some people have noticed that there's like 170, 180K in, I think, the multi-sig. So people are speculating that could be for something big. Is there anything you could share about that, what it's for, or you got to keep it on the DL?
Definitely got to keep it on the DL, but definitely something really big that they're working for, as far as I know. Yeah.
I'm excited to see eventually what that is used for. Rachel, you have anything you want to chime in? I mean, I'm just, again, super bullish on Miggles. I'm super bullish even more now that they're bringing you on board, because I know what you're capable of doing, and how you represent the base community and the base projects, which is just a net positive. So yeah.
Yeah, what I'll say is, I don't know if it's okay to share my screen, but maybe I can show a little bit of the on-chain media video we have for that includes Mr. Miggles.
I mean, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Awesome. Cool. Let me show really quick. I won't be able to share my audio. Actually, I'm not sure if I can share my audio. Maybe I can go to Force's video. But yeah, I think this would be really cool to share. So let me share my screen real quick. Okay, I just got to pull this tab over here. Okay. Present. Okay, can you guys see my screen?
Yep. Wait, hold on. No, give me a second. Now I can.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah. So if you look here at On-Chain Summit, I actually sat down with Force from Miggles, Captain of AYB, Salvatore of Flus, and Pablo of Official Moondao, or of Moondao rather. And yeah, you can see here, I shared about this and then also have a thread. I don't know why it's not showing more of the thread, but let's see. Yeah, if you look at the thread, there is a short video where Force is speaking about Mr. Miggles that kind of encompasses everything that we're doing. So you can check it out. It's my pin tweet on my Twitter, Rachel on Chain. And yeah, you can go through and listen to what Force shares around like I think the 10-minute mark. Yeah, Force is sharing. So yeah, if you guys want to check it out, it's pinned on my profile.
Yeah, no, we actually went down deep in the nitty gritty with that. We, actually talked with someone who launches rockets into the stratosphere, onto the galaxy, into space through a DAO, right? They work directly with Blue Origin. Pablo was a great conversation. Yep. Yeah, I mean, talking to these individuals is just like it's very surreal, right? Like we talk about it all the time, but like just working with the Doge team, working with, some of these funds and VCs and individuals that we're talking to is, just feels really surreal. And it feels like we're here today. And yeah, Web3 is here, Base is here, Miggles is here, Pearl Labs is here. And it still feels really early. It still feels like day one.
It really does. And it feels like the sky's the limit, man. I know that sounds cheesy, but that's how I feel. I feel we're just early days. And I think also another thing I'll touch on is like, if you guys implement what you guys are doing on the roadmap, this is the type of stuff that Coinbase and Base in particular have no other choice, in my opinion, but to promote. Because what is their goal? Their goal is to onboard the next 1 to 2 billion users. And if they start seeing a project that's actually putting in the work to do what they're saying, which is more than just a meme, it's to onboard the next wave, the next billion, through initiatives like you guys are doing, through the partnerships that you're making, through the ability to be in some of these stores, they're going to push this. And I feel the momentum will come, because again, it's super hard what you're doing. You just can't snap your fingers and be like, all right, I'm going to be in the target. It doesn't work that way. So I'm bullish and I'm ready. So Force, is there anything, last words you want to say to anybody, maybe your Miggles community or anyone watching still on the fence, not sure what the next steps is? Anything you'd like to share?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Kind of taking this all back, right? The best way that anyone can support Base or crypto or, Miggles community or Doge or any of these guys that, I mentioned just now, what we wanted to use is the Magic Eden Mint Fest and some of these mints that are coming up for our large activation coming up in middle of December. So what we want to do is basically have these commemorative mints that are going to be happening with Doge, with Magic Eden, have this be a whitelist exclusive for a limited time debut merch of what is going to be our multi-dimensional toy. And I don't think we talked too much about what exactly the toy is and what the multi-dimensional aspect is. So that can definitely be something that we can in the future talk about, Rachel and Bill. I think that'd be really like fun conversation besides like a lot of speculative conversations. So I think what we can talk about next is definitely some more about what exactly the toy is. And I think that will come out when we make more of the announcements on the TL. But, for in the meantime, we're keeping it very, very closely and dear to us. But the announcements are all going to come out within the next 2 months. So definitely turn on your notifications. Support us during the Magic Eden Mint Fest. That's going to be happening tomorrow to the 14th. We're going to have some exclusive prizes to the people, raffles, all entries for a 30K prize giveaway. And also on top of that, the whitelist access to the limited time merch is going to be coming out in middle of December, which is going to be our very first Pearl Labs debut product. We're very much so proud of, in collaboration with, some of the marketing arms and distribution arms that I mentioned, but also our own in-house game studio in which we are curating a really, really fun game environment for these IPs, not just us, but Doge, working with some of these other teams too, that we will hopefully mention a little bit more publicly as time comes around. But yeah, in the meantime, definitely keep your notice on. Please go mint. It only takes about $2, $3, $4, $5, very cheap, and it's a very, very low minimum effort. So if we can all rally up together tomorrow and then go mint that, that'd be great. Today, right now, they're doing the Doge mint. So if you guys go over there and mint the Doge, we'll still appreciate that. But yeah, I think that from now on, that's it. That's the only call to action that I have. Very simple and easy.
Yeah, and if you haven't followed Mr. Miggles on Base, the Twitter's at Mr. Miggles on Base, and follow myself, Force, and Bill. We are always active in the Miggles community. I have spaces going on all the time with Bill. If you're not following On-Chain Media Co. as well, Bill and I are always cooking and making content. And yeah, for those of you watching on the live right now, I actually commented with the videos that I created for Mr. Miggles. So you'll see the short there, and you'll see the longer form video for the group interview there as well in the comments.
Incredible. Does it show up on the comments? I don't see it. Just to make sure. Maybe I'm tripping. I don't know.
It's on the comment where you put, wow, the next phase for Miggles is huge. I commented on that post.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, perfect. So listen, I am so bullish on Miggles. I don't really have any other questions, but for everyone tuning in, we had a solid turnout, 579. That just shows, again, people want this kind of content. Forrest, you're always welcome on the show. Anytime you want to talk about what you got cooking, you know who to call. Me and Rachel are always down.
I just want to be like a panelist. I want to talk with some of your projects that you guys get on board, because they're all really cool. I always like listening to Late Night on Base because it's kind of like my go-to place to educate myself and kind of feel like what's like the up and coming and what's like at the forefront of CT, because I've just been so busy on the back end. So I do need to use Spotify podcasts like your folks's and kind of your guys' content and media to kind of rely on-chain media, rely on Late Night on Base. So I mean, I've never seen an episode where it really wasn't entertaining or stimulating. I think that you guys do something here that not a lot of people do, and I think there's huge value in that. So yeah, I mean, if anything, I would love to just kind of hop on if you guys feel like there's more content that needs to be done or feels like an extra voice here could be good. Yeah, no, definitely feel free to reach out, and I would love to join.
Force, you're always welcome, and I would have loved to have you at the event last night in San Francisco.
I know, I'm just so busy. I wanted to commit to that.
We're doing another one Friday, so we're going to be going back to Temple Nightclub. Actually, I mean, with SF Tech Week, there are a ton of opportunities to get involved. This Friday, we're doing a mixer. It's going to be like a founders mixer at Temple Nightclub with an after party there as well. And then, yeah, Saturday, Sunday, I'm going to be at Zoe House in San Francisco, covering the event that Dabble Club is doing. So a lot of builders will be there as well. I'll have a media room set up. So Force, you're always welcome. You always have a seat, if you want to get an interview or whatever. So yeah, hope to see you.
Awesome. Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, let's coordinate for that. Definitely.
Real quick, just want to give a shout out to Tess and to Anita. Huge fans of theirs. They're big supporters as well. Love everything they are. We met Tess actually at the Venice meetup, and Anita works for Proppy Keys. Really cool. On-chain, bringing the world on-chain through real estate. So check them out if you haven't done so already.
And Bill, I don't know if you know this because we're using StreamYard right now. You can go into the comments there and actually pin them and show up people. I just saw.
I know that part.
Apexio said GM Miggles. We got Tess. We got Anita. Yeah. Happy to see everybody being engaged here.
Yeah, no, I know. And yeah, RB3K, GM Miggles. He's a stud. He has a private group on Altcoinist. Huge fan of them. Same with Bullrun Gravano. I know he's a big into the Miggles community as well. I think RB is also pretty big in the Miggles community. We got Tess, of course, very kind, beautiful people right back. And of course, Tess. Anita and everyone else. So
Anita.
Yeah, I guess that's it, everyone. Thank you. I mean, if there's anything, Rachel, Force, you have any last words? Otherwise, we'll just wrap it up.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
No, thank you guys.
Big love,
Thanks
guys. Big love to Late Night on Base. Big love. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Much love. Until next time, everyone. Take care.
Cheers.